Hi guys, welcome to Sosin classes. This is Hima Hegde presenting before you the current and contemporary affairs in anthropology. The first topic for the day is tribal products. To help showcase the exquisite handcrafted products of the tribal communities, Tribes India sells tribal products and artifacts under the following categories: metal craft, tribal textile, tribal jewelry, tribal painting, cane and bamboo, terracotta and stone pottery, gift and novelties, organic and natural food products. Speaking of metal crafts, traditionally the Gadwas, Gonds, and Durwas, the tribes of Chhattisgarh, practice the Dokra art with lost wax technique or hollow casting. It involves patterning a clay core intricately with wax ribbons and then coating it carefully with a mix of clay and hay. The wax is subsequently melted off, and the cavity formed is filled with molten metal, that is, an alloy of copper and tin. When this solidifies, the craftsman reveals the beauty of his creation by cautiously breaking open the outer clay shell. Now, speaking of the tribal textile industry, this in India has been in existence since time immemorial and is a huge global commodity for India. Conquering all boundaries of time and space, the timeless brilliance of tribal artists have seamlessly adopted age old traditions into contemporary styles. Tribes India hosts a wide variety of apparel ranging from drapes to t-shirts that have been created out of tribal textiles. Fusing tradition with modernity, it isn't surprising that they have received immense popularity among all. Speaking of tribal jewelry, the finest pieces of jewelry are made by the tribes of Nagaland, Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh in the northeast, states of Odisha, Himachal Pradesh, and Jharkhand. Tribal jewelry from the northeast of India has an exceptional range of variety. With an unmatched combination of natural resource and innovation, these artistic creations are made with animal bones, corals, glass beads, and shells. There is a collection of special ornaments that includes original bead necklaces from the Wanchar tribe of Arunachal Pradesh, seashell, glass bead, and coral necklace from Konyak tribe of Nagaland. Necklaces made with beads with two brass heads and fish tails, which are considered as fertility symbols, worn by the Naga tribes, and necklaces with figures of heads strung on them. Speaking of the tribal paintings, tribal communities have expressed their sensitivity and creativity through their art and crafts. Their art exemplifies a level where life and creativity are inseparable. An expression of tribal life and its myriad aspects, tribal paintings depict a world of passion and mystique, home to more than 2,500 tribes and ethnic groups. There are different rich art styles when it comes to tribal paintings. Some noted tribal art forms which can be found at Tribe India outlets and the website include Warli, Saura, Gond, Pitora, and Patachitra. Now, speaking of Longpai pottery, named after the village of Longpai in Manipur, this is exceptionally beautiful pottery style in black stone and practiced by the members of Tangkul Naga tribe. Living in a single village with 400 houses in the district of Manipur, 200 potter families make these beautiful Longpai pieces. Speaking of cane and bamboo is abundantly found in almost all northeastern states of India. The tribal inhabitants make utility products like basketry, which are woven in various patterns, shapes, and sizes. Speaking of gifts and novelties, they become a remembrance of the moment and turn it into a beautiful memory. Carefully selected and meticulously made, tribes' collection of exotic gift items, souvenirs, and assortments made by tribal artisans have that magic. Lastly, the organic and natural products. Nature always appeals in its pristine form. It cares and nurtures only when it is pure. That is why tribes bring you food in its natural form, organic food, which is exactly the way nature wanted it to be, far from chemicals, fertilizers, insecticides, or any kind of artificial additives. This naturally grown range from various parts of India is for people who believe in healthy living. Moving on, we have ontological anthropology, the relationship between current concerns of the environment and anthropology. What is the relationship? What should it be? And what is ontological anthropology? So, ontological anthropology looks at the realities beyond our own. One approach is by categorizing the similarities and differences, like Philippe Descola in Beyond Nature and Culture. To cut a long story short, ontological anthropology provides the backdrop for books like How Forests Think rather than How We Think About Forests, or even How They Think About Forests. Eduardo de Castro, that is, thought of as the first prosper of ontological anthropology with concepts such as Amerindian perspectivism, traces this shift in anthropology, the ontological turn, to 3 points in a 2015 talk called Who is Afraid of the Ontological Wolf? First one, the crisis of representation, which complicated dualisms in anthropology such as human and non human, and nature and culture. Second one, the rise of science and technology, which gave rise to a greater separation between Western modernity and the others. Third point, the challenge of ecological catastrophe and its dialectical connection to the economic crisis, that is, the well known problem of the end of the world versus the end of capitalism, like which will come first. Now, this third stimulus has been especially explored by anthropologists Anna Lowenhaupt, Singh, and team. Now, an example would be multinaturalism, a concept central to ontological anthropology, posits that there is one culture and many natures, distinguishing this worldview from multiculturalism, where there is one nature and many cultures. Multinaturalism can help us develop a more critical view of ourselves, including our impact on the environment and in the Anthropocene. This is increasingly important for a wide variety of reasons, such as the ones we have. Like, these are just off the top of the research papers, and there are many more examples. Now we have the decolonization of conservation, the political implications of a move away from ecomyopia, the documentation with the goal of slowing down of the great acceleration of extinction rate. Now, anthropology is not enough for conservation in the Anthropocene. Anthropocene is a time of human sponsored environmental crisis. Ethnoprimatology can be an example as well. Now, if we were to have an inconclusive statement, before completing all the thoughts and in the stating of the Anthropocene, we have to offer it in its spectrum. In that, one has to question the term, the political implications, and whether it is too much or not enough. But anyway, anthropology is shifting in it, or because of it, and simultaneously, biodiversity conservation is shifting too. Lastly, we look into anthropology of food and eating. The study of food and eating has a long history in anthropology, beginning in the 19th century with Garrick Mallory and William Robertson Smith. Now, this prior to the 1980s, sketching the histories of the subfield is landmarked. We concentrate primarily, however, on works published after 1984. The study of food and eating is important for both its own sake, since food is utterly essential to human existence and often insufficiently available, and because the subfield has proved valuable for debating and advancing anthropological theory and research methods. Food studies have illuminated broad societal processes such as political, economical value creation, symbolic value creation, and the social construction of memory. Such studies have also proved an important arena of debating the relative merits of cultural and historical materialism versus structuralists or symbolic explanations for human behavior, and for refining our understanding of variation in informant's responses to ethnographic questions. 7 subsections examine classic food ethnographies: single commodities and substances, food and social change, food insecurity, eating and ritual, eating and identities, and instructional materials. The richest, most extensive anthropological work among these subtopics has focused on food insecurity, eating and ritual, and eating and identities. Anthropology of food is a subdiscipline of anthropology that connects an ethnographic and historical perspective with contemporary social issues in food production and consumption systems. Although early anthropological accounts often deal with cooking and eating as part of ritual of daily life, food was rarely regarded as the central focus or central point of the academic focus. This changed in the later half of the 20th century when the foundational work by several anthropologists like Mary Douglas, Marvin Harris, Arjun Appadurai, Jack Goody, and Sidney Mintz cemented the study of food as key insight into modern life. Mintz is known as the father of food anthropology for his 1985 work Sweetness and Power, which linked British demand for sugar with the creation of the empire and exploitative industrial labor conditions. Research has traced the material and symbolic importance of food as well as how they intersect. Examples of ongoing themes are food as a form of differentiation, commensality, and food's role in industrialization and globalizing labor and commodity chains. Several related interdisciplinary academic programs exist in the US and the UK. That is, they are listed under the food studies institutions.